I want you to be able to find love, keep it, and cultivate it, and have the kind of God-given relationship that He designed for you to have. And there are some strategic things that you have to do in order to have that kind of relationship. And I promise you, you're not going to find them at the drugstore checkout magazine rack. You're not going to find them. But you are going to find some incredible things in this magazine that will blow your mind and will help you. We were not called to create a subculture. We were called to create a counterculture. Anytime culture says, oh, that's okay, you ought to find out what the Word says about it first. The problem is churches don't talk about this stuff anymore. For too long, the church has stuck its head in the sand, and we've avoided topics that scare us, and we've avoided topics that don't make us feel good. We've avoided topics that we're uncomfortable with, and instead of explaining them, we've thrown a list of rules at them, and if you mess up, we say, well, we told you. You think you have a biblical worldview, and actually you have a secular worldview, but you think you have a biblical worldview, and you're defending your secular worldview while all the while God is going, no, where'd you get that from? You got to get back in the Word. What I'm trying to say is if you want a godly girl, then go where the godly girls are. If you want a godly man, then go where the godly men are. You can't go to the club and be like, hoping one guy's going to be like, hey, how you doing? John 3:16. You mean it's not going to happen. Not going to happen. No girls at the club are twerking for Jesus. It's not happening. If you don't have a clear vision of the kind of marriage that you want, if you don't have a clear vision of the kind of life that you want, then you will ultimately run amok. You will ultimately run without restraint and try to live the way that you want to live until magically something drops into your lap. And it's never going to happen that way. Love's not just going to happen to you. You're not going to be like frolicking along one day and then, boom, I'm in love and it's amazing. It's the greatest marriage ever. That's not going to happen. You have to work on your mindsets and your habits right now. Don't get a relationship and then try to develop relationship skills on the job. Marriage is not great on the job training. It's really good to come into it with a whole lot less problems. If you come into it with a lot of problems, guess what? You're still going to be married with a lot of problems. The whole example for all of us to follow is Jesus Christ Himself. He teaches us how to love and how to be loved, and how to exemplify love, yet also how to submit. I'm right-handed, so my right hand is the dominant hand, but I have a left hand who can do things that my right hand cannot do. And when these two come together, we are better to get together. We can do more together than we can do separate. And that's what marriage is. It's two coming together who complement one another. She can do things that he can't do. He can do things that she can't do. Contrary to popular opinion, the goal of marriage is not happiness. And although happiness is often a very real byproduct of a healthy relationship, marriage has a far more significant purpose in sight. It is designed to pull dysfunction to the surface of our lives, set it on fire, and help us grow. When we're willing to see marriage in this way, then the points of friction in our marriage quickly become gifts that consistently invite us into a more whole and fulfilling experience. What this is saying is you're not supposed to agree on everything. Submission means a wife sets a pattern for others to respect her husband. There are some of you, your husband cannot fulfill his God-given purpose because he's too busy trying to fulfill his wife-given purpose. He cannot make God happy because he's constantly trying to make you happy. So God literally steps back from some men and his vision for them and his destiny for them because he is too distracted by what should be his helper but has become his hindrance. Challenge yourself. Be a helper. Be a strength. Be a team. Husbands, love your wives just as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her. He's a savior. He's a giver. He's a nourisher. He's a cherisher. If you're not ready to do that, you're not ready to be married. Here's submission in a nutshell. Here's what women should say. I want to help you fulfill your mission, but I want you to love me like I am your mission. I submit to God. God, I yield my life. I yield my heart. I yield my mind and everything I have to you. And she's saying, I'll go anywhere you go. We can walk through anything together. She's praying for me. I'm praying for direction and guidance. And we are walking through everything that we're walking through side by side. She's not behind me. She's beside me. In today's society, women are viewed, presented, talked about, and sung about as if they are commodity. Here's what a commodity is. It's something that can be bought and sold or traded. You can't date like a slave owner and act like a godly man. Listen, if you're sleeping around with every woman that you can, you're dishonoring not only her, you're ticking God off. You got to renew your mind to think differently, and you have to make up your mind to behave differently. Examine how you entertain yourself. You need to have accountability. The Bible mandates, gentlemen, we're supposed to lead. Even in a non-marital relationship, lead. It's one of the strongest deterrents to making mistakes. Is knowing who it affects. Guys, we got to get it together. We cannot allow culture to decide our destinies. We have to speak into the culture and not go with the flow of the culture.